Hello and welcome to Buckman's Modelmania. Today we're going to be working on the Moomin House Stage 88, and this is actually kind of exciting because we're starting to do the interior walls of the house. Might end up putting wires through this one, depends on, or not the interior, we're not doing the interior, we're doing the exterior wall, sorry. And I might end up putting walls through this one, not sure yet. I don't know if this one is actually going to attach and stay attached to the house. I think so, based on the groove, the way the groove is on here. There's going to be two pieces that I believe attach to the house and stay there, and two pieces that are held on by magnets. So let's go ahead and get the book open, the page. And you can see there's actually a bit to do. Let me move the wall out of the way so I can get the package open. It's a long time coming to get to this point. Hold on to that because I'm going to need it for glue. So what we have here is the top, upper panel, and lower panel of the wall. They will go together once they're on the wall. They'll mesh together like this. Not sure how much of a seam is going to be visible. Hopefully not that much. And they're going to go on here like this. I could probably glue them without any problem. But what it does say in the instructions is to take a ruler and lay it along each of the areas here and actually bend it. I'll have to see how that works out. And then we've got some string. I think that there should be, well, they're calling it ropes, and I'm seeing, okay, there are two separate ropes here. We have a template here based on looking at the instructions. Maybe. Looking at the instructions, this should be cut a template in two parts, glue or tape two halves of the template together, paste it. Okay. I thought it would have double-sided tape on here. It doesn't. They want you to put a piece of double-sided tape at each one of these once you take these, cut it in half, and glue them together. That's for later. We've got these dowels that we're going to cut to make the rungs of the ladder. We have these two bracing pieces, and that is all the parts. So like I said, first thing they say to do is to take a ruler. I'm just curious, just looking how they're doing it. On the back, press a ruler along vertical lines, press lightly with fingertips, try not to break the piece. I am skeptical at best how this is going to work. Probably not best with a flat ruler like this, although it does say to clamp it. Let's see, let me find where is the small ruler I have here? It does say to clamp it on here and then bend it. Like I said, I am a little bit skeptical on this because I work with wood quite regularly. I understand what they're trying to do, but with it clamped like that, they want you to bend the whole thing at one time. does work with a little bit of finesse. Move over to the next section, and this is where it's going to get interesting, is trying to bend it while you're clamping it flat. So this might take a while. Just want to show the technique I'm using. Being very careful to bend it all the way along this piece. And the ruler does slide back and forth while I'm clamping, or while I'm bending it. Matter of fact, it slid down here at the bottom, which is the most important part, because it is actually clamped. Let me try this again. And you don't, however you do this, you do not want to overbend, because if you overbend it, it's going to actually break. Just kind of spreading it out a little bit. So there's two slots. I'm wondering how well this is doing. So let me push this on here. We're going to clamp it right there. We're going to grab another clamp. Okay, we're going to throw the second clamp on the floor. Put a clamp there. And my gut feel is I'm not sure how well this is going to work by using their method, because I can see right there where I did the second bend that it is sticking up. What it does say later on is if you don't get a good joint, to use super glue. They're saying to use wood glue, but this is thin enough, I shouldn't have to bend it. I should be able to just work my way across here, you know, especially because there are windows. I should be able to work the way across, clamping it in place while the way I go, or along the way. I'm not positive. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and pause the camera here. I am going to bend it. I will come back and say how I did it, because yeah, it does bend. But like I said, I'm not sure about how they're asking you to bend it. Let's clamp it on this one. That's off a little bit. Oops. Let's see, there it is too easy to slide, for the ruler to slide. I have triangular rulers. I think what the better method will be is to set this on a triangular ruler and set another ruler on top and bend it that way. That way you've got support on both sides. Okay, like I said, I'm sitting here playing with it and actually kind of just babbling as I look at it. So I'm going to pause the camera here. I'm going to figure this out, and I'll come back and show you how it's done, how I did it. There will be at least 4 panels like this. I think the next 4 stages are working on the wall. And like I said, you do one end, you clamp it everywhere you can, go back, you super glue it where it is not fitting snugly, and then you come back and put the second part on. You put some bracing pieces. These bracing pieces here, there's going to be a window here, and so these bracing pieces will go in here like this. And what they're going to do, what they're going to be used for, and I'll come back before I do that. But what they're going to be used for is to hold these pieces together. This will go on the back here like this. Lining it up should be really well once it's on there. Kind of like that. It's going to take a little bit of finagling, making sure everything is perfect. But that's for later on in this episode. Like I said, I'll pause. I'll come back once I have the walls bent. Where is it? Lost my cursor again. Mentioned that before. I'll be right back. Okay, so I've gotten these all bent. And by the way, this is the next day. I've gotten these all shaped, or both of these shaped the way they need to be. And I found the easiest way to do it was to take one of my engineer's rulers, and that's a triangular 3-sided ruler, and just lay it across, matching the line on either side. And as I folded it, or as I bent it along these, just very carefully bent it along the lines, I had it hanging off the edge of the desk so that it formed a natural curve. I let them sit overnight like this. They were clamped to here. So the next thing to do is going to be to glue these on here. And that's going to take a while because, among other things, I need to get these aligned as perfectly as possible so that everything lines up. I'm not sure how I'm going to do it. I'm going to start down here at the bottom edge because that's what they say, to put the bottom one on first. And I'm going to put the glue on, and I'm going to get it clamped on one side or the other. Best, perfect fit. And then I'll work across and do the other side. I have read ahead in the instructions. I don't remember if it was these. No, it's not in these, but later on they say to tape around these areas and then fill with putty, sand, and then repaint. I'm going to see if I think I can probably get this to where the seams are maybe not non-existent, but they will be very not obvious, because you can see if I can get it to go together well. I mean, the camera's a lot better than my eyes are, but if I can get it to go together well enough, I'm not going to need to putty anything. The vertical seams are going to be fine. Horizontal are the ones I need to worry about. And even though I'm lighting, it won't be an issue because this cardstock will go in the back here. So I'm going to get this glued together, get the skin glued on here, and then I'll come back. We'll do these cards, which I cut them apart to see how they would go together. And then I'll talk about doing the ladder. I may do the ladder most of the way off camera, and come back afterwards and show you what it came out like. I've also got, for when I do that, I've got my chopper out. So I'm going to pause again here, and we will be back or I will be back, and we'll see how this comes out. Hopefully really well. This is the first of 4. And I looked at it. I've already figured out exactly where this goes on the house. I'm really happy about it, about where it fits. Because this tab here on the house is where the stairs go up. So when I put the windows in here, I will have a spot right here that I can run the wiring to all the floors through basically a conduit piece of tube styrene. But I can get my wire my lighting without any problem whatsoever. So like I said, I'll be back after I get this wall put together. If I can find my mouse, there it is. And okay, I have the first piece on there, and it clamped within an inch of its life. And I'm have glue spots some. Trying to get the glue off before it sets. But got it clamped quite a bit. I'm going to let this sit for a couple of hours. I want to give it time to really set, which is kind of a double-edged sword. If it's off, then I can't fix it, but I also don't want to have to fight with it. Looking at it, I'm going to have to try and figure out to compare paints and get a little bit of paint at least on these edges. We'll see how that works out later on. So let me set this off to the side so that it can set up. And had the same thing happen on the other side. I'm going to let it be for right now. The joint right here just broke. This joint broke. So repairs in progress as we go forward. I'll set this off to the side as well. Get the remote for my TV out. And so now I need to cut this apart and tape the ends of it together. Just looking, see how they did this. So we got our template. Double lines facing up. Okay. Nope. Need a longer metal ruler than that. And of course, that's exactly where I sat the wall to dry. It was on top of where I keep my rulers. So we're going to take this. Line it up here and here. Find an X-Acto. No, it should have been just grab one, but I didn't see exactly where it was. It's always right in front of you and you can never find it. Do that a couple of times and hopefully that should be good enough. Yep. So then it says to tape or glue it together, and I'm thinking I have to measure that, but I'm thinking like that over top of each other. Let me take a look here real quick. That's 1.2 centimeters. It is so close. It's the small block is 1.2 centimeters, where the large block is 1.3. This block here is 1.2 versus 1.3. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to tape it, glue it, one of the two, to where that's correct. And you can see there's going to be a slight step there, but that should be fine. Then once I tape this together, what you do is you take the rope here, really thick thread actually, and you leave some about, I want to say it is 30 centimeters, or not 30 centimeters, 30 millimeters. Let's see. Yeah, about 30 millimeters beyond here. I'll cut these to each of these 24 millimeters long. It says cut 24 rungs. You'll cut them 24 millimeters long, put them on here, use double-sided tape to hold it down to there. Set these on. Once these are down in place, you'll take it like this, wrap the thread, rope, however you want to call it, around. Do one wrap like that, glue it, and then let it dry until you have all 24 of them in place. So I'm going to pause again. Actually, I'm going to stop the camera just like I did last night, because when I'm not going to go back to it within short order, what I do is I pause it so that I don't lose the footage. Or I stop the camera so I don't lose the footage. So I'll stop the camera here. I'll do this, put this together. Once I have this together, I'll come back, show this. Should be able to show the wall at that time before I put the second set part of the wall on. Once I have the second wall on, we'll come, and the ladder done, we'll come back, we'll do an outro, and that'll be end of this video. So, appreciate you sticking through on this. I will see you in a minute or so. See you in a couple seconds. Quite a while for me, probably a couple hours. I'll be back. Okay, I've taken the clamps off already, and I am really, really happy with the way this came out. It is almost perfect. There's a couple of spots here and there that might be a little bit off. And I did look, and because of there being no support underneath these pieces here, they don't fit in there perfect. You get this situated. They don't fit in there perfect, but that's what the cardboard that goes behind is there for. And I really have a feeling that if I do this right, if you look at those seams, I am not going to have to do any kind of fill. I'm going to be fine with those seams. And here's the ladder. Should be, let me feel. Yeah, it should be dry all the way down. So I did get a little bit on some of them. Got a little bit too much super glue. This one might be a little bit difficult there, but let me see if I can start peeling this off just to show what it's going to look like. You very carefully pull this off of here. And I did a double line of double-sided tape here. The ladder comes off and looks like that. So I'm actually on the stream, the Sunday stream too right now. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to spread glue on here, reclamp this like this side instead. Make sure that this, because I remember this when I moved it, it had felt a little bit loose. It will get better once I put the skin on here, but I'm going to go ahead and get this glued on, get this off of here, and then we'll come back after this is set up. Probably going to be, it's not going to be during the stream, but I will put this together. I'll set this aside for a couple hours and then come back and close out the video once this is done. But I'm really, really happy with how this is going together. Okay, so on to the next segment. Okay, this part has dried overnight, so it should be good. And the only thing I have left to worry about on here is these panels. Get the last of these off. Where these panels are here. This one is glued down. This one is right now free floating. There is a spot down here on the back where it will hit this one, this beam. Same with these, but it also is not completely flat here. And that is where these are going to come in, because these are going to go in here and should, if I get them in there right, maybe not up here, not sure if I'm going to be able to make it look exactly the same. Might have to get this a little bit loose. But what this is going to do is it's going to, when it's in place and glued down, it will, like this spot here, it'll pull that down. Let me get this back in here. When I glue it, I will clamp it so it'll pull that down, and it will fix most of it. It should become pretty seamless. And then let's just see. Yeah. I'm going to take a little bit of work with this, but I'm going to try and avoid doing any fill. And then the ladder came out really well. I have it hanging here on my rig for holding my camera. So I'm going to put some glue on the inside here. Actually, before I do that, I'm just looking at how these look. This one here, I may or may not be able to, I may not be able to get them to be perfect, but I'm going to get them pretty close. So I'm going to throw some glue in here. I'm going to actually glue this in with the L side down. Nah, we'll go with the L out. Get it in there like that. And then I'll clamp it. And my thought process right now is to clamp it not against the wood frame, but to clamp it against the clamp the cardboard against the back of the wood so that it creates as close to a flat surface as I can get. I don't think it's going to matter that I've got some of the glue seeping out. Matter of fact, we'll just clean that up. I think that'll actually hide the seam a little bit as well. This spot here, I'm going to try and figure out because I've got a raised spot right here. If they had sent panels that were the full length, it would have been a little bit nicer, would have looked a little bit cleaner. But I got to deal with what they sent me. So let me see if we can get this one on here. That's not going to do anything there. Same with this one here. I don't think we're going to get anywhere. But I'm going to call this done. I'm going to go ahead and take care of this part off camera. This is the last you'll see of this wall until it actually goes up onto the house itself. I think it's really well done. It does show some lines there. I'm not that concerned about them. I'm not gonna look for more work than I need to. I could fill it. I could, fill it, sand it, and then the whole 9 yards, and try and match the paint color. I don't know how well I would be able to match the paint color. So we're going to push on with this just the way it is. We're going to glue this other one on, and And you'll see that in a later video. So that's all for this one. I appreciate you stopping by. Thank you for watching. Like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon to be notified of any time I post new content. Take care of yourselves. Take care of each other. Have a great day. Have a great day tomorrow. And I'll see you in the next video or stream.
Modelmania, hard work models, plastic modeling, wooden models. Buckman's Modelmania, hard work models, plastic modeling, wooden models.